So what is internet addiction? Dr. Kimberly Young opened the first internet addiction clinic in the U.S. in 1995, more than 20 years ago. In order to satisfy the clinical criteria for an addiction, there must be a biochemical component or a biochemical explanation. And an individual diagnosed as having an addiction must show withdrawal and tolerance. Withdrawal is characterized by physical distress when the addictive stimuli is withheld or withdrawn, and tolerance is characterized by needing an increasingly higher level of the stimulus or the drug in order to avoid withdrawal. One study documented that 12% of Americans self-identify as having significant levels of distress related to eye technology use. About 10% of Korean youth are internet addicts. About 14% in China are addicted to eye technology. Video game addiction is growing faster than any other form of internet addiction. 14% of respondents in a large study of European adolescents showed dysfunctional internet behavior. Boys were more likely to be at risk for the serious level of addiction. About 1% were seriously addicted, and about 12% were at risk for developing serious addiction. In the U.S., Dr. David Greenfield found that about 90% of U.S. adults were engaged in overuse or abusive use, and about 12% were addicted. 75% of research participants admit to texting and driving, even though they recognize the potential danger of having an accident. Dr. Kimberly Young recommends the following in order to combat these problems. Check your checking. Be aware, be mindful of how often you check your cell phone. Set time limits on how much time you allow yourself to use your technology, to use your devices, to use your screens. And specifically set aside certain times to disconnect, to not use your devices at all, like during mealtime, or while you're studying, or during class. Compulsive shopping is another issue. Social media and online shopping, not just compulsive shopping, spending and buying, but posting and rating items and leaving recommendations about products. Today we can shop anytime we want. The traditional barriers to shopping and purchasing have been removed. Those barriers used to be when the stores were closed or not having a smartphone. Before smartphones and the internet became available, my generation, us old folks, we actually had the 24-hour shopping channel. That was developed quickly after cable networks, cable channels were invented. In order to buy things on the 24-hour shopping channel, you had to call the number on the screen in order to buy the product. So this included when we had cell phones, but not smartphones and not the internet. The internet, by the way, you may recall, came about in 1993, became available to the general public in 1993. So lots of people were addicted to the 24-hour shopping channel as well. Why are people compelled to buy things that they don't need and spend money that they don't have? They're triggered often by a need to feel less lonely and to feel special. They need to fill up a hole in the self. People feel increased social status that is granted once the new object is in their possession. The signals are everywhere in social media and online. Ads on our web pages are now tailored to the individual, based not just on buying patterns, but searching, seeking patterns. There are clocks for bids telling you how much time is left on eBay. This signal, too, feeds addiction. The compulsive shopper may be engaged in accelerated seeking. This is a vicious cycle of online escalation. Compulsive shopping is a way of self-medicating, but it leads to more stress, more anger, more isolation, more disappointment in oneself, more regret, and more depression. It is the classic roller coaster of addictive behavior. It is also often done in secret, just like other addictions.